the dynamics of individuals' value system transformation. Each one of us has a value system based on which we are taking actions and decisions, whether we are aware of its operation or not. Yes, even all our thoughts and feelings are directly influenced by it. For majority of us, this value system has been introjected from the primary membership of groups such as our families and community, our schools and colleges, and our social groups with whom we strongly identify. The strongly one identifies with a particular group, the stronger is the introjection of the group's values and culture for that person. This is also the process by which family's culture is passed on from one generation to another. This process is called socialization in sociological parlance. Now let's take the case of a person who comes and attends the UTSAV's lab. She further attends more labs and then pursues successfully PDP, Professional Development Program, and becomes professional member. Theoretically, UTSAV's value system of octopus, openness, confrontation, trust, autonomy, proactivity, authenticity, collaboration, experimentation, is supposed to be fully internalized by the new professional member, PM, and is expected to be displayed in the PM's action ideology, both at UTSAVs as well as at home, social situations, and work. In all these spaces, work, home, social sphere, etc., one is expected to follow octopus, because that is the new internalized value system replaced from the earlier one which one introjected earlier in one's socialization. This is the tacit assumption and not an expressed and formal norm. What is the reality in majority of cases of professional members' value system, and what are the consequences of the gaps between professed UTSAV's value system and practiced value system of UTSAV's PMs? The first question is, how strongly the PM identifies with the UTSAVs and hence internalize the UTSAV's value system? Most of the PMs are primary members of their work groups as well as their extended families. Hence, how much integration is possible if the value system of the work group and family group are very different? PMs belong to highly diverse cultural backgrounds and their identification with UTSAVs also varies from very strong to moderate levels. With this background, let me present the fundamental consequence on the relationships between the members of above lack of integration of value systems within the PMS. The expectations of PMS from each other will be based on the professed and expressed value system of the UTSAVs, while actual behavior will be based on the value system of each PM depending on with which group they strongly identify. For instance, if the PM is a member of a work organization which has a very hierarchical value system and it is internalized by the PM, then the same hierarchical mindset will be operating when she acts in the UTSAVs as well. This conflict between UTSAV's value system and the PMS value system will become the source of conflict with other PMS who are having expectations of non-hierarchical culture. The same can be said about gender. If somebody has been brought up with a value system that girls are not equal to boys, and she strongly identifies with that family value system, then the UTSAV's value system where there is gender equality expressed value, will lead to conflicts. Important consequence from above is that unless small organizations like UTSAVs have a way of strongly transmitting this value system, they will be engulfed by the larger system values and culture. Reason for this is simple. PMs spend 50 weeks in the larger culture and 2 weeks or so in the UTSAV's culture. The larger system has 50 weeks to reward and punish them for following its values, and UTSAV's has only 2 weeks. What is expected? Let me extend the above thesis for a young boy of 16 or 17 when he joins the Indian Army. The fellow is day in and day out encultured in the new army culture and value system. And these boys-girls, if they tend to strongly identify with their new organization and continue to stay there for next 30 years, get totally immersed in this culture. They have a new personality of a Fauji who is disciplined, punctual, obeys bosses' order unquestioningly and so on. Now when he is at home, he is transmitting this culture to his family also. There is no dichotomy between what he follows at office and what he follows at home or even in social gatherings, ideally speaking. Actually, there will be still many dichotomies. Sometimes, this has awkward consequences in his/her extended family settings. The same process is happening in all organizational men and women. If they strongly identify with their organizations, then they internalize its value system and operate with the same in their everyday life. What if they do not identify strongly? Then the dichotomy is large and the person behaves in one way at the work organization, another way at home, and still another way at social gatherings depending upon the culture at these places. Result is, a person remains at very shallow level in their engagements in these setups. The deeper commitment comes from strongly immersing in the culture of the group. Here is a very hilarious and tragic example of the same. The passengers boarding the Air India flight from London behave exactly the way Londoners behave there, namely come in queue, behave courteously, take care of fellow passengers, and maintain silence. When the same flight lands in New Delhi, they start behaving like typical Indian, namely, breaking the queue, speaking irreverently to others, being unmindful of how they are creating nuisance for others. Only the change of place from London to Delhi has brought about the complete change in behavior of the same passengers. Can I say majority of people are in this category? Now, for illustration purposes, look at the identification of members with their cults. Take for example, jihadi or militant cults where people are willing to sacrifice their lives, suicide bombers, for the sake of group's objectives. Similar commitment is seen in religious spiritual cults, howsoever irrational the belief system may be. It is rare to come across a person who has thought through his/her value system and is aware of the effects of introjections of various groups' culture on his/her value system and hence thoughts and feelings. One of the important growth agendas for every person is precisely this examination of one's value system and becoming more clear about the same. An important learning from above for me is that in UTSAVs we need to be aware of our expectations and objective reality in terms of value systems of different members. This will make our relationships more harmonious based on our compassionate understanding of human condition. No less important learning is that I can choose my groups, organization, social or political groups, which have the value system I want to live my life by, and get deeply committed to them for deeper engagement in the missions I want to devote my life to. One conclusion that I draw is that there are three kinds of people. First, those who are unconscious about their value system and enculturation. They operate driven by these unconscious forces through life. For this group, the engagement with group's culture can be strong as well, like in case of suicide bombers. Second, those who are aware of their introjected value systems, but the same is not integrated and thus behave as per the culture of the place with shallow engagements. Third, people who have integrated and thought through value system which does not change with the change of group. The last category are the people with clear identity and are the true leaders of the world. They may be unknown and unsung, but they are the real heroes who keep silently influencing the world for the better. UTSAVs, Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Sciences.